That's going to happen because of the elections that happened last night. I made sure that we would elect Republicans to the Texas House of Representatives in sufficient number to be able to pass a school choice plan just like the Texas Senate has passed many times. With the results that came in last night, there was a tidal wave of support for those House candidates that I supported. And we have more than enough members of the Texas House of Representatives elected last night to make sure that school choice is going to pass. And let me be clear about this also. Most of those candidates that I campaigned for in the general election, they were opposed strongly because they supported school choice. And even though they were opposed and had, in some cases, more than $1 million spent against them, those candidates prevailed because families in those House districts embraced and wanted school choice. So here's where we are. It's important to understand, as some people have debated the issue over the past session, over the past decade, they make it sound like you can't have both school choice and robust public schools. That's completely false. The reality is we can have the best public schools in America and also have school choice at the very same time. It does not have to be one or the other, and it's wrong to pit one against the other. Both public education and school choice are part of one of my primary goals this coming session, and that is achieving excellence in education. And the components of that are these. We will fully fund public schools in the state of Texas. We will provide teacher pay raises as well as teacher incentive pay to make sure we have some of the best paid teachers in the United States of America. We will enhance career and job skill training programs to ensure that for the kids who do not want to go on to a college, they will be able to go on to a high-paying job here in the state of Texas where there's high demand from some of the best employers in America. And we will also ensure that every parent has the right to choose the school that's best for their child by passing universal school choice in the state of Texas. With that, I'll be happy to take a few questions.
How will you be able to pay for this?
Just like we did in the last session. So, and this is very important that I make this clear and that you report it clearly. Some say that this is going to be paid for by taking money away from public education. That's completely false. The way that it was structured in the budget that we offered up last year, we had $6 billion extra for public schools that they did not vote in favor of. And then separate from that, we had a separate funding for school choice. And they act like they're taking money away from public schools. That would be talking like building roads is taking money away from public schools. That's just completely false. We'll have separate pots of money. One for public schools, which we will fully fund, teacher pay raises, which we will fully fund, and then a separate pot for school choice.
How many votes do you have in count right now?
So,
you had like 77 and 78 going in. How many now?
So counting what I call only true hardcore school choice proponents, there are 79 votes in favor of the Texas House. It takes 76 votes to get it passed.
Okay. Republicans had a big night last night. President Trump is the president-elect. Do you agree with his plan to have the largest mass deportation in the history of the country? And if so, will you help?
So know this, and that is, know as he has talked about this and elaborated on it, he's going to do what almost every American agrees that he should do, and that is first find all the criminals who are here, who crossed the border illegally and committed a crime in the United States or had a criminal background before they came into the United States, and either jail them or remove them from the country. The last thing they should be doing is roaming the streets like what Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have allowed to do. If you are a danger to people in Tyler or people in Dallas or wherever you may be in our country, you should be off the streets, behind bars, or sent back to the country from which you came.
What about the others who are here?
Listen, President Trump has made perfectly clear that this is a process, and you have to have a priority list. His priority list that you begin with are the criminals. And he said after he gets done with that, he'll look elsewhere. But know this task is a mountain to climb because under the Biden administration, they decimated ICE. ICE is the primary federal agency that's in charge of this. It's going to take Trump time to build up the ICE enforcements like what last existed when he was last president, as well as the Border Patrol agents. And it's nothing that's going to happen overnight. It's a process to get there. And that process begins with building ICE, building Border Patrol agents, removing the criminals first, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
$2.9 billion for Operation Lone Star. Now that Trump is the president-elect, will you still ask for that? The legislature for that?
So we're going to be waiting to see, just like I was explaining to you, it's going to be a process for President Trump to be able to get his border and immigration reforms in place. We have to be a stopgap effort as it takes him time to get that in place. But I've had private talks with the president, and he's going to be stronger and better at securing the border than he was in his first term, which was very strong and effective. He already knows the levers to pull. He's going to be very effective at it because President Trump will provide a more secure border than any president in the history of the United States of America. That means that Texas will have the opportunity to consider repurposing that money for other purposes. It could be for education, could be for property tax cuts, sending it back to the people of the state of Texas.
What do you say to people who are opposed to school choice, that you're taking these students directly from public schools and that they're getting direct funding from each one of these students, and you're getting some of the best students that are leaving these schools and going directly to private schools? So what do you say?
So Joel just debunked what you just said. I don't think Joel is getting the best and brightest students here, with all due respect.
Amen.
I mean, you may. I don't want. And so Joel is and understand this also. Joel's not like the only person in the state doing this. We have people in every community doing what Joel's doing in one way or the other. We are ensuring that students who may have fallen through the cracks in their public school, they're going to have a new chance, a new opportunity to be able to learn, to achieve, to succeed, to be on a pathway to getting a job, earning a living, providing for the family, and living a good life. And that's exactly what the students are getting here at this academy. And we want to see other students in every community across the state of Texas be able to access that same opportunity.
We have time for two more, guys. You made it all the way here to East Texas to have communication with a private school like Kingdom Life. What kind of communication and outreach and effort have you made to speak with the public schools in the area in East Texas?
So listen, the communication with all schools, we don't bifurcate this or trifurcate it. We're talking to educators, and we'll talk to educators about things, if you want specifics. The massive reforms that we've undertaken when the state of Texas took over HISD in Houston, Texas, and we saw what worked there, what didn't work there, and we're taking from their standards that we can apply more across the board. But whether it be in small towns, large cities, we're going to be working with educators across the board. Easy example. One thing that I've heard from educators that their top priority is, and that is increasing teacher pay. Know this fact, and that is if you look at all the money that was spent on public education last year, only a third of it went to teacher pay. That is wrong. I'll tell you this other fact, which is just amazing. Texas led all states on what's called capital expenditures. They're spending money on buildings. No state spent more money on school buildings than the state of Texas. We need to reprioritize our spending and focus it on what we consider to be the most important thing about education, and that is our educators, not administrators. And we will be working to increase teacher pay, which is the thing I hear the most as I talk to educators across the state.
We have time for one more. Governor, so the past few months I talked to Joel in August. They've lost funding. Their donations have dwindled. How will ESAs help the building stay open and not just have the voucher for the kids?
Well, Joe can tell you about the building because the building is paid for, correct?
That's right.
Yes, sir. So, and he's maybe in a different situation. But what it will do with any school that's providing education where some of the students may be coming here because of school choice, all the revenue that any school gets, they take that revenue and they apply it in part to teachers, in part to supplies, in part to maintenance and operation of the facility, things like that. All educators have to go through that budgeting process. But the most important thing that any school has is making sure the children are getting a good education. And one of the most important elements of achieving that goal is making sure they have good quality educators who will work with those kids to put those kids on a pathway of achieving their own opportunity.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate your time.
Thank you all. Thank y'all again.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you. You got it.
Thank you very much.
Y'all take care. You got it.
Thank you.
There he is.
We're going to be praying for you, sir.
Sure, I missed that. Sure. Yes, sir.
God bless you.
You too, thanks.
Would it be all right if I took a picture
Sure,
with you?
let's do it.
Awesome. Thank you.
There we go. Thank you so much. You got it. Y'all take care.
So much for being here and supporting us.
Of course.
Thank you.
Yeah, made the news.